jemand? Ну, дай автомат. Schießanul разочек.
Du sprichst doch schon! Nun, was ist denn?
The Ascent is a 1977 anti-war film that was written and directed by Larissa Shepitko. So The Ascent is this week's Patron poll winner, and this is a film that I've known about for quite some time thanks to my pals Perry and Eric. But an interesting fact about this film that made me want to see it even more is the fact that the filmmaker Larissa was married to the filmmaker who made Come and See, Ilham Klimov, and these films actually get compared because of the fact that they both kind of have this anti-war angle to their films, where both films don't hold back in the slightest in regards to portraying the absolute harsh realities of war, specifically having to do with the Nazi invasion. And now after seeing The Ascent for myself, I gotta say, I am in love with this film. This film is so expertly crafted in so many ways, and honestly, I know this is gonna be a hot take, but I actually prefer this film slightly over Come and See. And even though Come and See is a more emotionally devastating and traumatizing film, this film, I feel like in terms of its craft, in terms of its style, and even in terms of its real world moral and philosophical struggles, I just found it a bit more compelling. And as I mentioned, even though Come and See is more devastating, this film is no slouch. There are a few scenes in this film that got me really emotional. And it's not just because of relentless violence and the content that you're seeing on screen. For me, a lot of it was just about how it was captured. There's this crucial hanging scene in the third act of this film that just through its creative sound design and its use of score and the editing and cinematography, it just hits you in the most delicate place of your soul. And it was just so beautifully captured. Beautifully might be an odd word choice here because the context of it is truly tragic. But just in terms of the thematic, story, and character context, it just made it all that more powerful. Because this film overall, it truly is a powerful film. But the stylistic use of score and sound design is not just present there in the third act scene that I mentioned. It's present throughout this entire film. There are several scenes that truly capture these devastating moments for these characters in ways that do an incredible job at making the audience understand where these characters are at mentally and emotionally. And it's through these stylistic choices that makes this film feel like a spiritual journey. And again, I know spiritual might be an odd way to put it just because considering the devastating context of this film, but it's just a film that puts these characters in situations that truly test who they are as a person. And it's incredibly complex stuff. And these philosophical debates and themes of the film are ideas and discussions that are still incredibly relevant today because it's exploring the human condition and really gets the audience to think about what the hell they would personally do in the situation. Do they prioritize their own survival no matter the cost, or do they die with conviction and honor? If in order to survive, you have to throw away everything that made you who you are as a person, all of your morals, all of your beliefs, all of your values, if you have to throw all that in the trash just to survive, is life really worth living? And the film is able to explore these compelling philosophical themes through its two main characters. And when it comes to one of the main characters, I really loved that there are a handful of moments in this film where he kind of gets a vision of escaping. And each time, it just doesn't bode well for him. And I think these visions do an excellent job at really capturing how not only desperate that these people would feel, but just incredibly trapped as well. To where no matter which angle you look at, you're not going to live. But it's also the way that these visions are shot and captured that makes it feel so incredibly haunting. Especially the way that the character turns around as he's dying, just staring straight at the camera lens. It's it's just really frightening and haunting stuff. But this entire film is shot and captured beautifully. And what makes it even more impressive and ambitious is that it was produced under extreme weather conditions. I mean, everything that you witness in this film is legitimately on location. There's a scene in this film where one of the characters is literally dragging another character through the thick snow for long periods of time, and their body is literally just covered in snow, face and everything. And that scene goes on for such a long time, and I'm thinking to myself, these actors are going through hell right now. I mean, it gets to the point where I'm genuinely concerned that this person is gonna get frostbite. I mean, just the amount of dedication that these actors put into this role and the ambitious and bold nature of the filmmaker to capture it this way, I mean, you could argue is morally questionable, but regardless of that, you can't deny that we get such a compelling and authentic product. And this film also has an actor that most people recognize from Tarkovsky films, Anatoly Solzhenitsyn. I know that's not how you pronounce it, but this guy in this film does such an incredible job at embodying this monstrous character. I mean, he plays a sick fuck in this film. I've never seen him play a sick fuck before, but he absolutely nailed it here. And I really loved his character in this film because he's somebody that has clearly just completely sold himself to the Nazis. And even though within this small bubble he feels like he has all the power in the world. But I love that near the ending of this film, it shows you that no matter how much good you bring to the Nazis, no matter how hard you work and struggle for them, they will never give you any respect. They will always view you as a lesser human being. And again, it all kind of circles back to that philosophical question to where, is this type of life worth living just to survive? If surviving means that you have to lose all of your humanity and just become a monstrous human being, and at the same time, literally nobody around you respects you, not even the people that you work for, would you rather be dead at that point? And the ending scene to this film is so creatively captured. It's devastating, but it's really compelling, and it's also interpretive. After the film was over, I gave a lot of thought to what this ending scene was supposed to mean. What I got out of it was that it just kind of shows the impossibility of freedom given the route that this main character chose. It's just capturing the terrifying and devastating reality of never having the freedom to ever explore your own home country ever again, and being able to live the life that you were meant to live. And it's incredibly soul-crushing stuff, but it's captured incredibly well. But yeah, I absolutely love this film to death. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I think it's expertly crafted from pretty much every angle you could think of. And it's quite sad because this was Larissa's last film because she died in a car accident a few years later, and she only got to make a handful of films, and that's just really, really tragic. And it's just really heartbreaking to think about because we truly lost a beautiful talent, because this film just truly blew me away. It's moving, it's devastating, it's, again, I can't say this enough, expertly crafted, and I can't wait to see the other films that she's made. So I'm going to give The Ascent, screw it, I'm going to give The Ascent a 10 out of 10. I just reviewed Harakiri yesterday, which means that I reviewed two masterpieces back to back. But I feel like The Ascent is a bit overlooked because everybody talks about Come and See, and don't get me wrong, it is a fantastic film, but The Ascent is at the very least on par with Come and See, and it deserves everybody's attention. That's all I gotta say about The Ascent. If you really enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.